Well, people, that was a very, very chaotic, extremely entertaining, and this is why the Champions League is simply the greatest competition in the world because some of the games we saw and some of the goals and just some of the storylines that emerged from this match day where we saw Rashford return to greatness. Rashford is back with Barcelona. Bayern Munich, that might have been one of the best halves I've seen from them since Hansi Flick was the manager. Because Bayern Munich, that second half against Chelsea, were absolutely dominant. And then we go to Club Brugge, the master class they put on. This team deserves so much respect around Europe. So much respect. Back in the day where we respected Ajax, I'll get into that more when we talk about the Club Brugge. What else? Well, the Dortmund Juventus game, one of the best games I've seen in a long time. Obviously, not the footballing wise, but just the dramaticness about it and just the entertainment, people. This is why it's the Champions League. This is why I don't do reports or recaps of Premier League games. I should have done really one for Serie A game between Juventus and Inter, but this is the Champions League, people. And yes, Galatasaray will forever be frauds for me. And we'll talk about that as well. So give your thoughts in the comments down below of any of the Champions League game. What about Bodo Glimt? How are you feeling if you're a Bodo Glimt fan? What about if you're a Slavia Praha fan? If you're a Pafos fan, Olympiacos, if you're a Qarabag fan, might be one of the greatest days ever after beating Benfica while 2-0 down. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for a lot more UCL content because we're going to do match day predictions. We're going to do this after every single match day as well. A recap, a live recap of every single game. We're not just going to talk about Barcelona and glaze them. No. We're going to talk about Bodo Glimt. We're going to talk about all the teams out there. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Shout out to everybody already in the chat. Anthony saying, Michael, I was going to subscribe to your Patreon, but then on the first video you said it wasn't going to be like OnlyFans. Hey, man, I could put feet pick. If I put the feet pick on there, how much are you going to pay, Anthony? Big up to you. How are you doing? Big up to Mustafa. How you doing? Triple. How are you doing? Umar. How are you doing? Shivam. How you doing? Starboy. Yep, after Copenhagen, they look pretty good. I would say so. Big up to Ibrahim. Says, I can't lie, Michael, even though Galatasaray lost 5-1. When Liverpool play them, it will be a difficult game. Well, we will talk about that. Big up, Mo. How are you doing? And Qarabag were giving hell to the most informed team in Europe 2 seasons ago. This is true, but we'll talk about the Qarabag game very soon. So give your thoughts in the comments down below. Remember to hit the like button. Of course, there'll be timestamps after the live stream when I get it done. But let's talk about it, people. Let's get into the action. Oh, wait. Why am I all the way here? Whoa. We are way too ahead. All right, let's go back. We reverse back to Tuesday because there was 3 match days to go, basically. If you do that, Mbappe, I'll be there no matter what. Shout out to you. And shout out to Royal Union Saint-Gilloise, who got their first ever Champions League victory. And basically right now, it is the Belgian Pro League over Eredivisie. If you're an Eredivisie fan right now, I would hide in shame because the league is now getting dunked on. And Club Brugge, Royal Union, are showing out in the Champions League. And the fact that now the Belgian Pro League champion beat the Eredivisie champion, we're getting to a low point here for Eredivisie teams. I cannot lie. But overall, throughout this game, it's just a prototypical PSV game. You're going to give chances to the opposition. Peter Bosz doesn't have any defensive tactics, which I've talked about numerous times, I think now for the past 2 seasons, where this guy is so naive defensively that he's going to give oppositions opportunity. And look at the way Royal Union just absolutely cut them apart, especially on the counter-attack. I mean, this guy, Aitel Haj, wow, what a performance from him. He was unbelievable in the game. Promise David got the goal, but then I think he came off injured in the game as well. But yeah, PSV, they played a little bit better in the second half, but let's be honest here. Royal Union should have won this game 5-1, 4-1. It was a masterclass by them. So if I'm a PSV fan, you really have to look at Peter Bosz in Europe and saying, brother, can you just bring some different tactics here? You cannot just be Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim is just a back 5 merchant. Peter Bosz is just attack, and there's no defensive tactics. It just seems like it's every single time. Yes, they're missing, a star striker because Ricardo Pepi really needs to step up now with the absence and Luke de Jong leaving, but it wasn't a good performance from PSV, and I really think they're going to struggle this time in the Champions League. Because if you look at their schedule, yeah, they're in big trouble. But for Royal Union, for their first ever Champions League game, they were mature. They kept the possession very well, and some of their star players, like Kevin Rodriguez, I thought had a really good game, even though he should have scored in the match. But this Zorgan guy, the Algerian midfielder, really good game. And obviously McAllister and Borges, I think he's been there since they were in the 2nd division in Belgium. So I think for Royal Union, it's just deserved victory, and they absolutely just, I look, you can look at the XG for PSV and say, oh, look, Michael, they had a higher XG. If you actually watch the game, PSV were just a calamity all over the field. All over the field. So, yeah, shout out to Royal Union. Deserved victory. Get the 3-1 victory. And, yeah, for PSV, it's going to be a long season in the Champions League. It's going to be a very long season for them. All right, let's move on then to the next game because we got 18 games to talk about. Jesus Christ. All right, this one's going to be quick because not really much happened in the game because Athletic Club, being an Athletic Club fan, Athletic Club are just not a good team going forward. Without Nico Williams, there's no threat. There's absolutely no threat because if Inaki's not showing up, Berenguer is not really a striker. Nico needs to be fit. Obviously, no Sunset, if he's not really involved in the game, yeah, it's going to be a big howler for him. So overall, I just look at, Athletic Club going forward. Yeah, they can be strong defensively with Dani Vivian, who's an absolutely elite center back. But the one moment the moment this game changed was just the subs. Because you bring in Martinelli, a Trossard, where they've been absolutely ridiculed by Arsenal fans. Okay, maybe they don't have to start, but they can bring much needed options off the bench, which is something Arsenal desperately needed for the last couple of years. Just some options off the bench because they went all the time with Martinelli, Saka. But now that you have an Eze, you had a Madueke. I think Madueke overall had a good game. Yeah, you can talk about his end product, but Madueke actually was really cooking down that right side. And Arsenal, yeah, they didn't play, I think, amazing. They controlled the game. I feel like they are going to be so tactically suited to Champions League football where they can just sit back, control the game defensively. And of course, with Mosquera, Gabriel, Saliba, and you still have Calafiore and Hincapié off the bench, it's like Arsenal's defense is wild. So once Gorazabal made that mistake for Martinelli to just go through on goal, it was curtains. You knew Martinelli was going to finish it, and he had a point to prove. So every time an Arsenal player comes off the bench, they have a point to prove. And defensively, they're going to be solid. But I did say that Arsenal would win this game 1-0, and it kind of played out the way I thought. Athletic Club, absolutely toothless going forward, and they can be defensively strong. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a tough season for Athletic Club unless Nico gets healthy. Nico needs to get healthy, and I would agree with this as well, that Sanati should have been subbed on. Yeah, I do agree with this, that maybe Sanati could have brought a different element to the game, but Gorozeta was there. Gorozeta didn't really do anything off the bench. It's just like Arsenal's team is so much stronger right now than what it was before. That's the main difference for Arsenal. Now, of course, Henry and many Arsenal fans have talked about it. They got to win a trophy this season, which I agree. So there's going to be pressure on Arteta, but that's the pressure they need because they are a good team, Arsenal, and they're going to be a very dangerous side, I think, in Europe. So let's see what happens there. All right, let's go to the next game then. So 2-0, it was pretty comfortable for Arsenal overall. And this game as well, to be honest, I was really excited for this game. I was like, yes, Spurs versus Villarreal. This is going to be a show. You got Lucas Bereval, you got Mika Dautse, Nicolas Pepe, Tejan Buchanan, you got Javi Simmons, Kudus. The game was dead. The game was dead, especially when both teams got to the final third. The only goal in this game was a howler from Luis Jr., the goalkeeper for Villarreal. Absolute howler from. If he didn't make that mistake, I mean, yeah, probably could have finished 0-0 because both teams didn't look like they were going to score anything throughout the match. Yeah, you could say Spurs, they defensively look solid, but multiple times, Spurs gave up the ball in the midfield and Villarreal were on the counterattack. And every time they got to the final third, whether it was Nicolas Pepe or somebody else, they kept on fumbling it. So I think this is more on Villarreal just being so poor in the final third and really having no bites about them. You kind of look at like Nicolas Pepe especially. He got multiple opportunities to take a shot to the bottom left corner. Consistently missed it. Tejan Buchanan, he had a good chance in the first half, which he really should have converted. So I think for Spurs, you didn't play well. You could be a little bit more daring going forward. But, this is such a difference to what we saw under Ange, where Ange ball was just craziness, chaoticness, highlight for life. You're getting it tattooed right on your forearm. Now it's like Spurs are going to be a much more controlling team with Thomas Frank, and I think they're going to do well. Do I see them going far? Yeah, probably like a round of 16 quarterfinal for Spurs, depending on the talent they have. And for Villarreal, they got to now win their next game. I think it's Juventus at home. That's a must-win game for Villarreal. I know they're a good team. They just did not showcase it during that night at London. I don't know what happened to Villarreal because you have Mika Dautse, Jose Perez, but it's like the midfield just doesn't have a lot of creators in there. You have a Papa Gay who's a very good player overall, box-to-box sort of guy. He's not a creator. So that's what Villarreal kind of needed, a number 10. They really needed Alex Baena, but, well, you know where he is right now. He's gone from the team. yeah, I would say I'm a little bit disappointed by Villarreal, 100%. Spurs have become a defensive team under Thomas Frank. One shot on target, people. One shot on target the whole entire game. Yeah, it was dead. It was dead. Spurs don't look good offensively. Yeah, as of right now, yeah, Spurs don't look good attacking-wise, but hey, at least they can show that they can grind out a sort of 1-0, 2-0 victory, very ugly sort of performance. You're going to need that sometimes in Europe. Haven't Inter been doing that the last couple of years? 1-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-0 sort of victory. So I think for Spurs, you're back in the Champions League. Some of these players have never played Champions League football. I think it was a valuable victory for them because we know that Villarreal are actually a good side. We know that for sure. All right, let's get to the next game. Oh, hey, you know what? I do believe, and I'm going to just quickly check this. I'm pretty sure this is Qarabag's first ever victory in Europe. I'm going to just quickly check that because I already made a video about Benfica, so you guys can go check that out on the channel. But I think this is Qarabag's first ever victory in the Champions League. Yeah, it's their first ever victory in the Champions League. So that's the first ever victory for a Azerbaijani team in UCL football. I mean, what the fact that they were 2-0 down, and it's not like hit and run sort of, yes, we were somewhat in the game and we just got a jammy result. Qarabag were cooking Benfica away in Lisbon. See, if this was in Azerbaijan, or I think it would be in Baku, the game on a neutral venue, you could understand, okay, Qarabag at home, maybe they could be a little bit different side. This was in Lisbon, in Estadio de Luz. And the fact that Qarabag went to their home and were 2-0 down and then said, okay, let's play football. Oh, okay, you know what? We had guys who were playing the Portuguese second division, playing for, what's that one team called? Estrela or something like that. Guys like the journeymen, basically, players in Portugal. They showed up to the Estadio de Luz and said, hey, Benfica, we're taking your chain. We're going to show how you play football. And I mean, what a result for Qarabag. And this guy in the midfield, I think his name is Cody Borges or something like that, the Brazilian. This guy was balling out, especially in that second half, I thought, for Qarabag. I think it was Borges in the midfield. Number 2, Cody Borges. Bro, he was unbelievable in that game. Unbelievable. So I think for Qarabag, this is a monumental result. Like, I don't even want to talk about, like, in terms of, like, can they get into the playoffs, but just the fact that they get this victory for the club and Azerbaijani football, because we know the Azerbaijani national team has been absolutely horrific recently. So for a team to do this is a monumental result, and especially against Benfica, who are a legendary side around Europe. I mean, wow. So yeah, shout out to Borges, especially the number 10, the Brazilian guy, because I thought he was unbelievable in the game. Yeah, Andrade, he had a pretty decent game. He was good in the first half, but the second half, Andrade kind of fell off. And then, another Colombian striker, Duran, gets another goal. So what do you want me to say about Benfica, people? I mean, there's a reason why Bruno Lage got sacked. And people are like, oh, it's too harsh to sack him. You lose to Qarabag at home. And I know people are going to say, Michael, look, Qarabag did this to Bayer Leverkusen 2 seasons ago. I get it. I understand that. Shout out to them. But this cannot happen to Benfica. You're 2-0 up at home. 2-0 up at home. And Surokov was having a good game on his debut. Just shameful. And you saw everybody had the white handkerchiefs. They were like, Bruno Lage out, afuera. Well, he's gone. And the special one is in. I cannot believe Jose is still the manager. I really cannot. Jose finally back in the UCL finally. Yeah, I think it's the first time since 2020, if I'm not mistaken, since Spurs, right? For Jose. Yeah, shout out to Qarabag. They fully deserve the victory, by the way. In Europe, Qarabag always show against the big teams. Qarabag dropped a 4-piece on Atleti before, if I remember correctly. No, not Qarabag. No, really? Did they drop a 4-piece on Atleti? I know Benfica dropped a 4-piece on Atleti last year in the Champions League. Did Qarabag? Maybe they did. Andrade, it's such a shame that Andrade doesn't play for Cabo Verde, you know? That's a real shame. The Qarabag loss was so bad, they hired him again. Yep, 100%. I can't believe a team that lost to, wow. Mourinho Haram ball is back at least. Hey, at least we get to enjoy it, people. At least we get to enjoy it. So yeah, shout out to Qarabag. Fully deserved victory. Now, what can they do in their next match day? If Qarabag win their next game in the next match day, they're cooking. They're cooking in these playoffs then. They're cooking for the playoff spot at least. All right, people, remember to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We only got 17 likes. After the match day we only got 17 likes. Oh, you guys are performing like, I don't know who. Maybe like AS Monaco. Maybe like Benfica. You better hit the like button. As of right now. As of right now. Otherwise, you are all Benfica players in the chat at the moment. Okay, so this game, I didn't get to watch the game. I haven't rewatched it, so I cannot tell you about, tactically how to Marseille set up or Madrid set up. So I'm kind of just going by the highlights. And judging by the highlights, I mean, Madrid's created a gazillion chances. A gazillion chances. Now, the game will be defined by this moment because obviously they scored a penalty in the first half. And then obviously Madrid got this penalty in the. How is this a penalty, by the way? Please, somebody in the UEFA refereeing committee, like, how on earth, like, is this a certain thing where they have the VAR room and then the VAR room got hacked or something, like some Russian hackers hacked in? Because how is this, of all things, a penalty? I mean, it's just such a robbery. And I kind of feel bad because Marseille played it a little bit better, judging by the highlights in the second half. But you're going to get screwed over if these sort of things happen. Honestly, like those sort of penalties can never happen. But Madrid take advantage of it. They get the 2-1 victory. But judging by the highlights, I mean, they created enough opportunities to win this game. They were just not clinical on the day. Goulart, it looked like Goulart didn't have his best game. So you can't go over the top and say, Goulart should be dropped. The one thing I would be concerned if I'm Madrid is Trent is now out injured, I think, for like 6 to 8 weeks. Carvajal has the red card. So is it going to be Valverde now in the right back position for the rest of the Champions League, or at least for next 2 to 3 match days, I would say? That's going to be a bit of a concern if you're Xabi Alonso, even though Valverde has done really well in that right back position. And for Marseille, I mean, to lose only 2-1, I think it's a pretty positive result because we know Marseille, they're just such a hot and cold team with their performances and how they're going to show up in Europe. So for Marseille, let's see how they do in the second match day, especially when they're going to be at home, and see how they perform. So for Madrid, they just got to be more clinical. That's their biggest problem. They just got to be more clinical. But Mbappe, so far this season, is having a really, really good season. He is bouncing back. Let's see if it continues. Let's see if it continues for Mbappe. Let's see if it continues. Oh, man, this game. Now, this is football right here, people. Was it even football? Juventus and Dortmund was absolutely calamity, chaos, drama-filled. I mean, who do you even blame for it to be 4-4? Do you blame, like, the Juventus defense? Do you blame the sort of mentality of the Dortmund players to have a 4-2 lead? Let me remind you, a 4-2 lead in the 93rd minute, and you bottle it 4-4. I don't want to hear any Dortmund fans giving me confusion in the comments down below. Michael, you cannot be so harsh on our team. There is so much. The evidence is against Dortmund every single season. I don't want to do it to the team because Dortmund have an amazing fan base, other than when they made it to the Champions League final against Real Madrid. But how many times have we seen this with Dortmund? They have to just you are 4-2 up away against Juventus. Just sit in. How much space did they give for that fourth goal? You should just automatically say, here, Juventus, you have the ball, and we'll just defend. Now, of course, they're missing key players like a Schlotterbeck. I mean, Sule, this guy can't stay fit. I mean, Nicolas Sule, his contract should be terminated if he's not going to be able to stay fit for Dortmund. Overall, the first half, because I watched this game, the first half was dull. There was not much happening in the game. Juventus really were not eager to go on the front foot. They were not really pressing high up the field. Dortmund were just kind of comfortable in possession, just keeping it, but no real desire from their front either. Once they got that first goal with Adeyemi, beautiful touch, by the way. Adeyemi with a little touch, and then we know his shot is so powerful. It's like 99 shot power on FIFA. When they got that goal, I was like, okay, now we got a game here. Then, I mean, Yildiz, bro. I'm going to make a separate video on Yildiz. I mean, Yildiz right now is balling out. What a season he's having so far. And I already saw it last season. And then Thiago Motta decided, you know what? I have some cardio master from Argentina on the bench. Let me start him over Yildiz. I mean, how you were starting Nico Gonzalez over Kenan Yildiz. I know Kenan wasn't the most consistent last season, but still, he's the most dangerous threat on this Juventus team is Kenan Yildiz, because with a moment like that, he can produce a goal, produce an assist. I mean, this kid is just, what a sensational football. I'm so thrilled that we get to see him for so many years, like an Olise, like a Yildiz, like a Lamine Yamal. I mean, we're blessed, people. We're definitely blessed. And then in Mecha, 2 minutes later, gets a goal. Edge of the box, wonderful layoff. I mean, Koop Miners or Thuram should be on a Mecha to block the shot. That doesn't happen there. Vlahovic then equalizes. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous at that point. Then Yankuto after Di Grigo. Oh my, I can never say the Juventus goalkeeper's name correctly. D had a terrible mistake for that Yankuto goal. One, you cannot get beaten at your near post like that. Could you blame him for the other goals? I don't really blame him for that Adeyemi or then Mecha. Nothing you can really do there. Yankuto gets the goal. And then the penalty happens with Bensabani and Girassi kind of beefing. And then ultimately Bensabani took the penalty and scored it, even though I was like, really, Bensabani of all players. But he stepped up, converted it wonderfully. And then the chaos just happened with Vlahovic getting the goal. And then Lloyd Kelly, Sir Lloyd Kelly, of all players, has scored in back-to-back goals. And back-to-back games, for Juventus, and they get a 4-4 draw. There is no words to describe this game. It just makes no sense. It defies logic on how Dortmund were 4-2 up. I thought they played pretty well in the second half. Juventus were a bit more daring in the second half, and they got punished for it. And this is a thing I talked about a lot heading into the Champions League is Juventus are going to be elite going forward. You look at Zegrova. Finally, Zegrova's back from his injury. You have a Openda, a Vlahovic, a Jonathan David, a Kenan Yildiz. You have a good midfield. You have decent fullbacks, even though I don't know why Del Mario doesn't start in the right wing-back position. But defensively is where they need to improve drastically, Juventus. If they can improve defensively, Juve can be around a 16 quarterfinal team because they have so much firepower going forward. And also Tudor, I think the problem for Igor Tudor is he just needs to be more daring. He cannot have his handbrake. He's basically at 1 gear right now. He needs his team to play at 6th gear, 7th gear the entire time. Once he does that, then I think Juventus are going to be a fun team to watch. For Dortmund's perspective, they just got to be better defense. It's just a mentality problem with this team. There is no... Who is the leader on this Dortmund team? Who, people? Who? Sabitzer. Look at Kolbe. Kolbe was so pissed off when they dropped points against Juventus. The other players, it's okay. All right. Yeah. Gregor Kolbe was the only one who seemed like he was actually furious at this situation. But you just have to look at Dortmund and saying, bro, you're in a great position. 4-2 up away in a Champions League game. You have a tough schedule. You just got to see it out. They don't see it out, and I kind of feel bad. I don't even want to blame Kovac for this. People want to blame Kovac. This is all on the players for Dortmund. All of them. You have to have game awareness within the game. You have to be aware that, okay, now we just got to sit back and just hold on to the result here. 4-2 up. That's what I'm saying. Schlotterbeck, bro, just give him like some red blood cells or something to get him fully back. Because once he gets back, I would feel a little bit more confident for this Dortmund team. Right now, not so much. But what a game. Unbelievable sort of just footballing drama that we love to see in the Champions League. And Juventus, guys, are they the most entertaining team right now in football? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Because that's now 2 games back-to-back where it's been 4-3 and 4-4. What's gonna happen next? Who are Juventus playing next, actually? Let me check. Who are they playing next? Because that would be a good indication of whether to watch their game. Juve are playing Verona next. It might be a stinky 1-0 game for them. Big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to everybody. AB is saying here, fun fact, Kovac and Tudor played together for the national team, scored both in 4-4 draw 25 years ago. Wow. That is crazy. That's how funny how football works. Big up to Ahmed and big up to Mingo as well. Hope you guys are all doing well. What a game, by the way. What a game. All right, this game, not much to say. 0-0. And it was dead. David Luiz made his return to the Champions League, which was pretty crazy to see, to be honest, because I'm like, really? David Luiz, of all guys, is back in the Champions League. David Luiz could have not imagined that, hey, you know what? I'm going to really play in the Champions League this season. Yeah. And there he was, back in the UCL. I think this is more in Olympiacos because how long were Pafos? I didn't get to watch this game as well. Pafos were down to 10 men since the 26th minute, and Olympiacos created next to nothing in the second half. Okay, they had like 15 shots, but only 3 on target. So I think for Olympiacos, this is a really sort of disappointing result because you're at home, you're against Pafos, who are going to be one of the weaker sides in Europe this season. You can't get a win. Taremi comes onto the field. He actually got a red card, then they rescinded it, and he only got a yellow because that was never a red card, by the way. I don't know why the referee. But overall for Olympiacos, a little bit of a disappointing result. They just didn't take the moment that they should have. And I think for Pavlos, that's a pretty good result, considering you were down to 10 men for, what was it, 70 minutes? I mean, that's a pretty good result for Pafos. So yeah, not much to say about this game. It finished 0-0 and a little bit disappointing there. This game, though, football. By the way, there was some idiot on Twitter. I don't know why I do this to myself sometimes when I look at Twitter. Oh my God, look at the Champions League. Why are these teams? No, I think it was the early kickoffs. It was the Olympiacos Pafos and the Slavia Praha Bodo Glimt game. And the guy was talking about, no, this is not the Conference League. No, this is not international football. No, this is the Champions League, the new reformed Champions League. I'm sorry. This is the champion of Norway. This is the champion of Czechia. That was the champion of Greece, and that's the champion of Cyprus. Is this called the Champions League? I'm sorry. Did I, read this wrong? Do I have the title wrong? This is called the Champions League. All of these teams deserve to be here. Look at the way Bodo Glimt have been playing the last couple years. Look at Slavia Praha, how they played against Bodo Glimt. Look at Olympiacos, they won the Conference League. So this idiot on Twitter, and who has a really big account, by the way, he's a Spanish guy, just talking nonsense, really. Just talking nonsense. But this is why I love the Champions League, and this is why I love covering the league phase and watching all the games as much as possible, because people would look at Slavia Praha and Bodo Glimt and be like, nah, I'm not tuning in. This probably was up there with Dortmund Juventus as the best game of the week, because end-to-end stuff, some calamity with the penalty miss from Kasper Høeg with, when was it, the second half. Mbodji, by the way, guys, this is a crazy story, and I think this is correct. Mbodji was playing in the French 5th division last season. And I think he was signed to a Czech 2nd division. Slavia Praha signed him for 1 million. His first start, he scores 2 goals. Football, man. How can you write these sort of stories? It is an unbelievable tale for Mbodji, who gave up the penalty, looked a little bit shaky on the ball, still got 2 goals from the left back position. And Slavia Praha really should have won this game because they had a golden opportunity in the 100th minute of the game. If he converts it, Slavia Praha would pick up 3 points. But Fett's volley for the equalizer and the Norwegian commentary, by the way, for it, that's football right there, man. I mean, what a game. Yeah, I would say that Bodo Glimt kind of got lucky because I don't think they played that good. I think they looked really shaky defensively. Jens Petter Hauge had some decent moments in the game, but overall, I feel like Bodo Glimt didn't have their best game. I thought Slavia Praha, I was really impressed by how well they played, how really dangerous they were on the counterattack. Now, I know it's going to be a different story for Bodo Glimt at home because obviously the artificial turf is going to play a massive factor, but this game was bonkers. I just love this sort of, these two teams realize, and that's why I was talking about it in the Matchday predictions, that both teams realize, we have to win this game. If you want to have any shot and gaining more prize money within the Champions League, this is a game you should have won. And ultimately go with the 2-2 result. So I wonder, if you're a Bodo Glimt fan, are you happy with this result considering how you played? Because I would say you should be happy because I don't think you played well. You got the 2 goals. Happy days. By the way, this bossy guy who's only 20 years old who came on the field, he looked pretty good. So you can just see now the youngsters that Bodo Glimt are signing. I think he's originally from Tromsø. I could be wrong, though. Look, they just are such a well-run club that you got to admire Bodo Glimt. And Slavia Praha, I think they should be disappointed because they really should have won this game. They had a lot of opportunities. Yep, he is. And I know, Angel, I got to stop doing it, bro. I got to stop doing it. It is. Ironically, these 5:45 UK kickoff games usually tend to be the most exciting ones. 100%. Agreed. What a comeback by Bodo Glimt on that second goal. Yeah, that Fett goal was unreal. Away from home, it's a good result for Bodo minus the pen. Yeah, the pen, maybe that could have changed the momentum of the game, possibly, but it didn't. And it ended 2-2. People said, PSG, one season hype. Okay. By the way, Atalanta are terrible. Atalanta are absolutely terrible. The faster they sack Juric, the better. This guy will do nothing with this team. They still have some talented players, but my God, Atalanta, you could just see how much it was all about Gasperini. The football he played, the bravery he had, tactically, how well they did. I mean, Atalanta are going to regress. I don't want to say that because they've been an unbelievable story for the past decade, but I've seen it already in the Serie A. Yeah, they won over the weekend. Cool. I mean, it's just like you can see this team, they don't have any belief anymore in their project. I don't know how Adama Lukman, if he joins this team, which I think he's now training back with them, what is he going to do? Really, realistically, what is he going to do? Scamacca, he's out injured right now, so I kind of feel bad for Atalanta because I feel like they've done such a marvelous job with the signings and the way they've been playing their football, but they're down bad. And that's why I had them missing the playoffs this season. They're just not a good team. They're not. Maybe with Gasperini, they could have gotten a result here because there's no Desiree Doué. There's no Dembele. So you're like, okay, maybe Atalanta could get something here. With Juric, sorry, it's not going to happen. This is exactly how it's going to be like when Rudy Garcia was with Napoli. You'll see. You'll see, people. Trust me. Trust me. I don't want to be right, by the way, but I just seen this too many times with these, kind of hipster teams like an Atalanta, like an Ajax. You could go back in the day with other teams that when they lose their talent and when they lose the manager who brought them the success, they all fall apart. Look, Rome fell. So will Atalanta. So will Bergamo. But PSG, on the other hand, were absolutely, I mean, you want to talk about domination of the football they played. João Neves, Vitinha, and Kvaratskhelia goal was magnifique. Actually, I would almost say that Nuno Mendes' goal was better because the way he just left the Atalanta defender, put it back onto his left foot, and the finish was unreal. And just shows you that PSG are still the top team in Europe. I know Barcelona look good. I know Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, they all look good, right? Real Madrid, they have a good start. PSG are still the team to beat this season in the UCL. Now, heading into next match day when they play Barcelona, I will talk about that more on the match day predictions. I wonder with the absence of a Desiree Doué and a Dembele, how that will affect this team. But based on the way they played against Atalanta, it ain't going to matter. Maybe it's how Luis Enrique is watching the games. Now he's just an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, and he's just going with the blitz because they're going with the blitz tactics right now, PSG. They're saying, oh, we're going to humiliate every single opponent. But the team is just so confident with the way they played. The Club World Cup final, they forgot about it. They remembered they are UCL champions with that performance they had. 4-0, and it could have been even worse. It could have been even worse. Let's see what you guys are saying here. PSG is still dangerous, 100%. PSG just need to finalize a consistent penalty taker. Yeah, Barcola, by the way. That was a horrific penalty. That's such a bad penalty. I did not see that. We giving Gasperini hero status after what Atalanta has become? Yeah, we do. They should name the stadium Gasperini Estadio. They have to. Stadio dei Gasperini, because he brought them all the success. Yes, it's also the recruitment and the way that Atalanta have been building from the back room, but come on, man. That all of the success stems from Gasperini. Without Gasperini, Atalanta would still be a yo-yo team. They would be the Norwich City of Serie A football. It should have been 6-0. It could have been 7-0, to be honest. 8-0. Atalanta regression is in progress. 100%. 100%. All right, people. Remember to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new under for more UCL content, as we're going to talk about Liverpool right now, winning 3-2 over Atleti. Initially, when I looked at the lineups, I was like, okay, Alexander Isak is starting. Good. Atleti missing a lot of key players. Julian Alvarez misses his first game through injury and first time in his career. I was like, Liverpool better be winning this game. And there's just been so much discourse. And that's why I don't really want to do content with other people because, oh my God, Liverpool are boring. Liverpool are not creating enough chances. Freaking 2 games and people have just the craziest sort of narratives and the way they just talk about, certain players and the manager. It's like let things just boil. You don't have like jollof rice and you just take the jollof rice and take it away from 10 minutes. You have to let it marinate. You have to let it cook. Let the marination happen. Then you're going to have the best jollof rice. If you take it away, if you just cook the jollof rice for 10 minutes, oh, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible, but that's kind of this Liverpool team. It needs to marinate. You need to give it time. It's basically brisket barbecue. Brisket barbecue, if you want to have it perfect brisket barbecue, 16 to 20 hours. If you only cook it for 4 hours, yeah, no shit, it's not going to taste good. Yeah, no crap, it's not going to be delightful sort of meat. But Liverpool, slowly but surely, will look like a good team. I know right now it's not looking perfect. And yes, there's some bumps when it comes to defensively, how they are playing and people being overcritical of Verts. And I can understand that with the price tag. But with so many new signings and with such a maybe new play style with an Alexander Isak and a Verts, it's going to take time to build the chemistry and finding that perfect combination of players. But Liverpool, I think they actually played really well in this game. Yeah, they bottled a 2-0 lead. They really should have had this game done and dusted with 3-1, 4-1. Salah had a great opportunity in the second half and he hit the post. If that goes in, we don't talk about, again, Van Dijk scoring a late goal. I think every single game winner so far for Liverpool this season has been beyond the 85th minute. I think Chiesa was 87th. Then the Newcastle, that was 99 with Rio. Then what was after that? Soboslai, 89th. Again, with Burnley, 93rd. And now this, it's like, you really just need patience with a Liverpool game. And you just need to you have to just say to yourself, it's okay. We just got to relax here. We got to relax here if you're Liverpool fans. But I think from Atleti perspective, not the worst result. You're 2-0 down. I mean, Sorloth is an abomination. I'm sorry. To any Norwegian watching or Atleti fan watching, this guy is simply not good enough. And I know some people in the comments down below will say, and I'm not trying to rip on the player, but he is over 6 foot and he can't header a ball. And he doesn't use his physical presence. He can be exactly like Haaland. Just hold up play really good. Just those 1-2 touches to get his teammates involved. Sorloth can't even do that. That's why Simeone can't trust the guy, because he doesn't have a physical presence on the field. So I feel like if you're Atleti, yeah, you have I think Raspadori played pretty well. I think Giuliano Simeone played pretty well. And Marcos Llorente just turns into the greatest player on earth when he's at Anfield. 4 goals he has scored at Anfield in the UCL. You know how many goals he has scored total in the UCL? 8. Half of them have been at Anfield. Bro, if he just played at Anfield, he would win Ballon d'Or 5 times in a row. Easily. But I wouldn't feel so deterred if I'm an Atleti fan. I feel like you played well. Yes, it's just the one corner with Van Dijk. Leno Mod should not be marking him, by the way. That should be Sorlov's job, but I'm not going to get into that. I feel like Atleti played pretty decently, barring the players they were missing. And for Liverpool's perspective, you just simply cannot keep on bottling a 2-0 lead. You can talk about the play style. The one thing Liverpool have to stop doing is bottling a 2-0 lead every single game, it seems like right now. Once Liverpool can just comfortably win a game, confidence, chemistry, cooking. So, yeah, I wouldn't be like over the top and say, oh, yeah, look, Liverpool are not going to kick on. I wouldn't go there because I feel like there's still going to be a lot of bumps for this Liverpool team. And for Atleti, you've got to win your next game. It's as simple as that. And I think they're playing Eintracht Frankfurt next. Eesh, that's not going to be easy. Momo Henny broke his PC setup. Yeah, I did see that, Patrice. So shout out to you, bro. Waiting on that Madrid-Liverpool game. I have a feeling it's going to be good, high-scoring game. It's going to be a lot better than last season. The last season was pretty much Liverpool game. Yeah, Simeone went crazy. Yeah, I mean, the Liverpool fan were just giving shit to him. I love it. You got to give it. Although I think there was an assistant manager from Atleti who spat on a fan. Bro, what are you guys doing? Come on. There's a reason why Norway don't play Sorloth. There's a reason he couldn't make it at RB Leipzig. Even Koke controlled the game when he came on. Yeah, Conor Gallagher. He's not at that level. I'm sorry, he's not at that level either. He's a good player, but not at that level for Atleti. Oh, chaotic game as well. Bayern Munich 3, Chelsea 1. I'm going to say this was Bayern's best. The second half was the best half I've seen from Bayern Munich since the COVID year. I'm going to go that far. I think since the COVID year. Because the way they just popped Chelsea off the field with the football they played, the high pressing, that one chance that Olise had, or Sanchez, by the way, Sanchez had a great game. That's why it finished 3-1. And Sanchez, you could have said he was man of the match, because that save he made on Olise, where Bayern had about 30 passes. They built it out from their own half. 1-2 combination, 1-2 combination. They play it over the top. Sasha Bowie making a nice overlapping run. Cuts it back to Olise, and Olise really should have scored, but it's a great save from Sanchez. But that just shows you the sort of football that Bayern Munich were playing in the second half. Chelsea could not touch them. They could do nothing. And I don't want to go, people shouldn't go crazy about Chelsea either. This is why they're not going to be, Champions League favorites. It's one game. Look at PSG last season, the Champions League in the league phase. Nobody would have said, this team, you know what? They look really like Champions League winners. So it's one game for Chelsea. They can bounce back. They really played a good half in the first half. That's why it was a quite even game. But the second half, Chelsea were not good. I mean, they just could not get anywhere near the ball. And that's why Bayern Munich ran out with a comfortable victory. So I think for Chelsea, this is a good learning lesson. You're still a young team. You can bounce back. Do the same thing like what happened in the Club World Cup. You lose to Flamengo. You bounce back. You win every single game with good defensive setup and the attackers showing up, with especially Palmer. Palmer and Sanchez are the only two players from Chelsea that can have their head up high from this game. The rest of them, they really underperformed. But I think this is more about Bayern Munich and the way they played, because with so many injuries still, there is no left back. Stanisic got injured and he's out for like 2 to 3 weeks. And yet still Bayern popped them off the field. And I think people gotta, not right now, but if Bayern Munich do really well in the Champions League this season, like get to a semifinal, you got to give praise to Company, because there was so much, and even myself, I was a little bit skeptical about, oh my God, you're really taking a chance you're hiring Vincent Company. Yeah, he plays good football, but still, it's a novice manager really in football. He had a decent spell at Anderlecht, not so great at Burnley, but you got to give credit to Vincent Company, because the football they play, and Harry Kane was mesmerizing that game. There is nothing the Chelsea defense could do, nothing the Chelsea midfield could do to stop Sir Harry Kane in that game. Not even about the goals, but just his hold-up play, link-up play. I even saw him driving with the ball. I'm like, when has Harry Kane ever drive with the ball? I was like, this was a great performance from him. And obviously, Olise. I'm going to start calling Olise the CP3 of football, because his eye for a pass, ridiculous. So, yeah, I think Bayern Munich, they just showed that they have so much quality. Nico Jackson coming off the bench as well. They just need a little bit more defensively, because you saw Jonathan Tah in that first half. Something I said heading into this season, Jonathan Tah will get caught out in the counterattack. That happened numerous times in that second half. Kim Min-jae comes in, a little bit more stronger defensively, and then you saw Bayern Munich were able to really control the game a lot more. And yeah, I think Bayern Munich really dominated the second half. There was nothing Chelsea could have done. Nothing. So yeah, they showed them levels though. I mean, the guy is still living in 1998, bro. Well, I mean, what do you expect? He's living in 1998. I take Will Hughes. Okay, let's not go crazy here. Competent, I wouldn't go that far yet. I wouldn't go that far yet. Bayern showed Chelsea levels. How you spend $2 billion and turn up with Chalobah and Tosin as your center backs. I mean, to be fair though, Fofana is injured. Colwell is injured. So, and I think that was the thing that Chelsea fans talked a lot about over the summers. They wanted to sign a center back. They just couldn't do it. I don't know why they didn't do it. Club World Cup equals FIFA Community Shield. Yeah. Oh, forgot to mention, Conrad Leimer have a game when he was inverting into the midfield, controlling the game, defensively looking solid. Conrad Leimer might have been man of the match, even though I would still give it to Harry Kane, because I thought Harry Kane was amazing. Conrad Leimer, number two. Chelsea's going to start playing well in knockouts, and Bayern defense is still fragile. That's why I just don't trust Jonathan Tah, man. I really don't. Yeah, I really don't trust Jonathan Tah. Now, Michael, Chelsea have an overrated squad. Gap to top teams is bigger than people think. Chalobah, Tosin, their depth in attack is mid. Other than midfield squad, has too many flaws. Look, AB, it's one game. If they get embarrassed by Barcelona at home, you can then have these comments. It's only one game. You just got to relax. Shout out Zir. How are you doing? We didn't dominate the first half, but we got comfortable after the third goal. I know. Look, man. Bayern Munich in that second half could have easily won 5-1. Sanchez made some great saves. It could have been 5-1, and Bayern Munich really could have made a statement. So I think if you're a Bayern Munich fan, you should be really positive, because, you know, the Bundesliga is not going to be a test this season, because other teams are really sort of in a rebuild mode. Bayer Leverkusen, RB Leipzig, I mean, Dortmund are always going to be in rebuild mode, it seems like nowadays. So for Bayern Munich, it's like you really need to show out in the Champions League to lay your stance amongst the big teams again in Europe, because last season, it's like you went away to the Montjuic and got embarrassed. So, yeah, I think for Bayern Munich, they just got to have a healthy team. Davis needs to come back really early. I don't know. I think Alphonso Davies is going to come back like December or January. No, I think it might be January or March, they said, for Davies. And obviously, Musiala will be a key thing as well. Yeah, Frankfurt and far more, we need to step up in the Pokal. Yeah, probably the Pokal more. Chelsea versus Barcelona will be close depending on PSG. It's rumored for November. Hey, man, if they can get these two guys back, Musiala and Davies, I just feel like Bayern Munich still need another center back, because you cannot trust Jonathan Tah. Kim Min-jae is still, injuries kind of cost him as well a lot for Kim Min-jae. Okay, this game, I only watched the highlights of it, but wow, I mean, Ajax are just terrible. Wait, give me a second, people. All right, there we go, people. I don't want to be rude because I love Ajax, one of my favorite teams around Europe. They are not actually, you know what? You took the words out of my mouth. They are a Conference League team. They're not a Europa League team. Johnny Heitinga, he needs more time, but there's just no quality on this team. And tactically, I really don't see it. You see, Ajax fans last season were talking about, let's play the Ajax way. We need to play the Ajax way. Come on, guys. Come on, play the Ajax way. Okay, you want to play the Ajax way? This is what's going to happen. You're not going to win the Eredivisie. You're not going to do well in the Champions League. You're not going to make it to the playoffs. So for Ajax, it's a quality thing. You want to talk about the manager. Farioli did a magical thing. Screw it into your minds, some Ajax fans. Screw it into your minds. You're not a Champions League team right now. And it's devastating for me to say that. But I just look at this team and I'm like, oh, Klaassen. What? Okay, by the way, for Heitinga and the team, why is Klaassen marking Marcus Thuram on the corners? Why? Oh, there's the other players that can't. Don't matter. Klaassen should not be marking Marcus Thuram on corners. That's basically what happened here. Inter, they played decent, judging by the highlights. Esposito looked pretty well with his overall play. Yeah, Ajax had a good chance in the first half with Ghosts going through on goal, but there's just nobody on this Ajax team. I look at the midfield, I'm like, no quality. Attacking-wise, it's okay. Defensively, okay, they're pretty good there, but you can just tell that this Ajax team, they need a rebuild. They need to get more attacking talent in this team ASAP. But overall, yeah, Inter, did they play their best game? Judging by the highlights, I can't say that, but they definitely needed a bounce-back result after losing the derby, after losing against Inter over the weekend, and now they're going to face their nemesis Sassuolo on Saturday or Sunday. I think Sunday they're playing them. So I think there's just more on Ajax and just highlighting that this team are not going to do well. And it's sad truth. It really is, because I want to see Ajax be like a Club Brugge, who we're going to talk about soon. That's where Ajax should be like. Ajax should be like Club Brugge. You have an elite academy and elite scouting. No matter what players you lose, and that used to be Ajax, where they consistently lose these players, but they bounce back because they have a very good structure within the team. And even if you lose the manager, it's okay. There's no structure right now with this Ajax side. And that's why they're trying to cling on to this idea of playing playing the Ajax way. You simply cannot do it with this team. You cannot. Inter, they just have the quality, they have the experience, and that will get them through. So the one thing, I just want Inter to sign a center. By the way, Esposito looked good. I'll give that. Esposito looked good. So at least, Inter are actually trusting in the youngsters, unlike other Italian teams. Because other Italian teams, yeah, not so much. To be honest, Ajax are probably upper mid-table Conference League side. Oh, man. Ajax has no players that can control a game, so they need to play really well structurally. And you know what? Heitinga has no tactics. He has no tactics. I'm sorry. He's not a tactically flexible manager. That's not his problem. He just doesn't have enough experience. So, you know what? I feel like this is going to happen. Heitinga is going to get sacked, and they're going to bring back Ten Hag. I think that's what's going to happen here with Ajax. That's just my thoughts. I'm not saying that Heitinga is a bad manager, but I just had that feeling with what's going on here. That is probably the worst Ajax side on paper. Probably. Look at this. Forbes, not good enough for Ajax. Look what happened when he went to Club Brugge. Structure. Yeah, it's falling off a cliff. I mean, yeah, they're a little bit hampered with the money they can spend, but overall, it's just not good enough from their perspective either. Tactics of Heitinga is attack. I don't even know about that even, because they have no attacking plans either. So yeah, Inter, a comfortable result, 100%. See, it's funny how we talk about Ajax and then we go to a team that have basically turned into the new Ajax. Club Brugge, man. There's just something about this team that I love. All of the players they lose, all of them, they keep on losing every single season. We lose this player, we lose this player, we lose this player, we lose this player. It don't matter. Do you see them crying? Do you see them trying to give excuses? No. Club Brugge are the model team for teams outside the top 7 leagues. If you're a team outside the top 7 leagues, Club Brugge are the team you should follow as a model. Because they play such good football. And the recruitment they do, the academy they have. You look at a player like Van Aken, who's been at the team for, it feels like a decade now. The goal he scored against AS Monaco. AS Monaco are not a bad team. But my God, they looked like not even a Conference League team against Club Brugge. This game could have been 7-1, 8-1. Club Brugge could have done the exact same thing like they did against Rangers, if it wasn't really for poor finishing and then hitting the post a couple times. But Club Brugge were outstanding yesterday. Just the total football, the 1-2 touches, the directness they consistently play at. It's just a joy to watch. You know, Forbes playing well. Tresoldi, who they signed from the Bundesliga 2, what a player he's turned into. I love Onyedika. I don't know why he doesn't get enough opportunities with the Super Eagles, but it is all on Van Aken. Van Aken is the glue for this team. He is such high IQ footballer. Van Aken is one of those underrated ballers that when he retires, you're going to be like, wow, Van Aken was that guy. He is that guy. He is everything for Club Brugge. Without Van Aken, what do you expect? So, just Monaco, I have nothing to say. They were terrible. They were so bad. Eric Dyer was getting just tossed around. There was nothing they could do, Monaco, and there was nothing Adi Hutler could do either to really just salvage anything from the game, because the pressure, obviously they had that penalty from Akolute who missed it, but overall it's like, wow, Club Brugge are going to be again a force. You don't want to play this team at home. By the way, if you're a team going away to Brugge, don't want to play them. That's why I made the video last year talking about Club Brugge are the most underrated team in Europe, because they are. Because of the football they play, the recruitment, the signings. It's like, mamma mia, what a team, what a team. So yeah, Van Aken, it's all predicated on Van Aken. If he doesn't play, I feel like this team then are missing that spark, that little bit of creativeness. If he plays, oh, you're going to see football. You're going to see football. Van Aken equals football. That's all I can say about that. Yep, people definitely got to respect them, 100%. We'll find out. Sabbi just had injury problems last year. Here's the maestro. Don't know about Tresoldi. Was fantastic yesterday, but at the weekend, he was bad. Got you empty. Diokin is one to watch. I think he has a lot of skills. He scored a great goal yesterday. A little bit of patience inside the box and just rifled it into the top right corner. So, yeah, but for Monaco, they need a wake-up call. And same thing for Bayer Leverkusen. I did say this game would be a draw, and it turned out to be 2-2. Like I did say 1-1, so I was like, oh, could have been 2-2. Finished 1-1. I'll take it happily there. If you're FC Copenhagen, you'll be kicking yourself because you took the 2-1 lead. Beautiful counter-attacking goal. Robert finishes it off. You're like, oh, there's the victory for FC Copenhagen. They took advantage of a Bayer Leverkusen team being naive defensively. I don't know what Bayer Leverkusen are doing on that goal they conceded, by the way. The second one they conceded, because, wow, they were all over the shop defensively. And Grimaldo, 3 free kicks, goals in 2 games. Is he now the best free kick taker in the world alongside Messi? Because I'm still having Messi up there alongside the best free kick taker. But Grimaldo, wow. I mean, another sensational goal by him. And then, unfortunately, an own goal. Echeverri with a wonderful cross into, or he was trying to find somebody in the box, and then obviously goes off Hatzidiakos, the Greek center back, and it finishes 2-2. I kind of have my little bit eye on this game, not so much as I was really focusing on the Club Brugge. Overall, you know, FC Copenhagen had a really good chance at the end of the game as well, where if they just found that one pass to play, I think it was Achuri who was making that run, FC Copenhagen could have won this game. But it finishes 2-2. I would say this is more flattering on Bayer Leverkusen because I don't think they played well. I feel like FC Copenhagen were the better team. And if you're Bayer Leverkusen, you can be like, wow, we got a lot of work to do. And I mean a lot of work to do because they do not look like a competent and strong team at the moment. So, yeah, I think for Bayer Leverkusen, definitely need to bounce back. If you're FC Copenhagen, I think it's a really missed opportunity. This was the game to win, if you ask me. I didn't get to watch this game. I was just really focusing only on Barcelona last night. 2-0. I saw that Di Lorenzo got the red card, and you know what Conte, he ain't taking no risks. He's going to take off KDB. Hopefully he got a good reception. Haaland scores. I think that's now his 50th UCL goal. 50th UCL goal for Erling Braut Haaland in like 49 games. People are not deeping how scary of a player Erling Braut Haaland is. One of the greatest strikers of all time. People want to say big game player, this and that. This dude is a freak of a goal scorer, an absolute freak. When he retires, we're going to be like, oh, where's that Holland sort of striker in the football? Enjoy right now, because this guy is he's wants you to have a bounce back season. Holland knows World Cup here. World Cup here. Let's show up. Let's show up, because Norway are going to qualify for the World Cup. I want to show up. Doku's having a really good start to this season, by the way. With Marmoush being down injured, Doku's like, okay, now is my opportunity to really, stamp my authority in the starting 11. So I think for Napoli, Di Lorenzo's red card, it just completely changed the sort of tactical idea that Conte wanted to have in this game. And then, they just sat back, and you can't really do that against Man City, because one thing Man City have, quality going forward. If you just take the game to them, that's where they could look a little bit defensively sort of naive and look a little bit weak. But thanks to them getting the red card, it was an easy game for Manchester City to get the 2-0 victory. And for Napoli, now they got to bounce back, because they do have a tough schedule. This was a game where I'm like, okay, could have been a draw. Maybe it could have been a draw. I think it would have been a really intriguing encounter if Di Lorenzo didn't get that red card. By the way, Di Lorenzo, I just can't trust this guy. You cannot trust this guy in these big games if you're Napoli. Can do well in the Serie A, and he had a really good bounce-back season last year for Napoli, but it's just a costly error. Those just costly mistakes will punish Napoli for sure. If Doku was consistent, he gets massively disrespected, of course. Yep. And end product. Yep. Doku goal was insane. Oh, okay. I didn't get to see the goal, actually. So that I'm sorry, guys. I didn't get to see the goal. Now, this game, I checked out, by the way. Let me just actually, I got to bring up this photo. Let me bring up this photo, because I'm going to talk about how good Eintracht Frankfurt are, because I rewatched this game in the morning, because I was like, there's no way this happened. So let me just bring this up for all of us to see, to just really understand what on earth I want to talk about here. So this is Galatasaray's last 33 games in the Champions League. And how many greens do you see there, people? Sorry if you're colorblind, by the way, but how many greens do you see there? Last 33 games. No, this is not just away. Home and away in the Champions League. They have a grand total of 3 victories in 33 Champions League games. 3.
I have to talk about facts, because I think it's important.
So long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
They don't know what the F they're doing. Galatasaray, man. I mean, they are the most entertaining team, because they are the definition of Gattuso's quote. Sometimes maybe good, and sometimes maybe bad, because they can play the good of football. They can be a dangerous team. Obviously, Osimhen being out injured yesterday doesn't help them, but they played pretty well for the first 15 minutes. And yet again, over and over with this Galatasaray team, they just make costly mistakes. Sanchez yesterday, then they just lose the midfield battle. They look all over the place defensively. And the one thing you cannot do against this Eintracht Frankfurt team is just be horrible defensively, because Eintracht Frankfurt are such a good team going forward, with a Jonathan Burkhardt, with obviously Knopf, with a Uzun. By the way, Uzun, this guy, I think I talked about it last season, or maybe I said something on Twitter or Instagram. Uzun, this Turkish midfielder, baller. Keep an eye on him, people. He's going to be a special player. And obviously Hugo Larsson. But it's just like, this Eintracht Frankfurt team, you simply cannot give them chances, because they will punish you. They did the same thing last season and in a couple of games in the Bundesliga, Europa League. They did the same thing last night against Galatasaray. And Galatasaray have nobody but to blame themselves, because they always put this sort of pressure on themselves to perform. And they rightfully should. After spending the money they did on Osimhen and on other players, and getting a guy like Leroy Sané and a Gundogan to bring experience and to bring still some quality, Galatasaray should be making it to the playoff. You can't lose 5-1. You simply cannot if you're Galatasaray. Over and over again, the fans put a lot of pressure on their team. Rightfully so. I can understand that. You're one of the biggest teams in Turkey. I'm not going to get into that debate between Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. You guys can do that in the comments down below. But you simply cannot say to yourself, oh man, yes, we can do this. We can go away to Eintracht Frankfurt and win. Heck no. Do I need to show this again? 3 wins in 33 games. And that one, their last victory was because Onana was in goal. That's it. So they have to really change the narrative about themselves, Galatasaray. For Eintracht Frankfurt, I mean, Dino Topmöller is doing an unreal job. I think he was the assistant manager for Julian Nagelsmann. I could be wrong. I think he was. Dino Topmöller just has this team balling out every single game. It doesn't matter the opponent. It doesn't matter the occasion. They just play good, attacking, free-flowing football. Watching a guy like Ritsu Doyen to a guy like Hugo Larsen to a Knopf to an Ozan. It's like, it doesn't matter. Ekitike, Omar Mus. Okay, we're good. We'll bounce back. Look at Ozan. 19 years old. What a baller he's going to be. He's going to be the next guy who's going to leave for like 50 million from this Eintracht Frankfurt team. And it's because they have a perfect structure. They know how to recruit. And Dino Topmöller is such a fluid manager. Last season, it was a lot of a back 5 formation. Now this season, much more of a back 4. And Knopf, I really like Knopf. He's a very underrated sort of player. And Ritsu Doyan. I love Ritsu. So keep an eye on this Eintracht Frankfurt team. They could be a sneaky sort of dark horse team in the UCL, a team you don't want to play in a one-off game. For Galatasaray, I mean, I think their next game is Liverpool. Let me quickly check that. I think their next game is against Liverpool in the UCL. Just give me a second here, people. Yep, Liverpool at home. Is that a must-win already for Galatasaray, people? Put a 1 if you agree, or put a 2 if you disagree. Because I think that's a must-win for Galatasaray. It's going to be a tough game for Liverpool. I just would recommend watching Galatasaray because they are such an entertaining team. Because you just don't know what's going to happen. You really don't. You really don't. Big up Samasi for being a member for 28 months. God damn. Gala, one of their wins was against Manchester United. Yes, it was. After all this, watch them turn into prime Barca against us. I would not be shocked. Bayern's defense, to quote Stephen A, is an accident waiting to happen. Yeah, they need it, man. The Galatasaray need to win that game against Liverpool. Oh, you know what? That game is going to be solid. I can't wait for that game. That game is going to be awesome. But yeah, kudos to Frankfurt's unbelievable side with Dino Topmöller. Really, really top team. This game I did not get to watch or the highlights, but Trincao keeps on balling out. He was absolutely fabulous for Sporting last season. Continues that form into this season. But the great thing is that Kairat got a goal with Ed Milson. So both teams won. Kairat got their first ever Champions League goal. Sporting got a comfortable victory. They won 4-1. Trincao is balling out. Happy days for everybody. I don't think there's much else to say. Sporting are, of course, going to win this game because Kairat did very well, but Kairat going away from home, that's where they're probably going to really struggle, and they're going to suffer these huge defeats. At home, and I think their next game is hosting Real Madrid at home. Maybe, people. Maybe. But, yeah, overall, yeah, Sporting are just, they're going to be too strong for Kairat at home. It wasn't even a contest. Judging by the result, and then I checked out the stats. Yeah, it looked nasty. And then the final game we're going to talk about is Barcelona, a.k.a. Marcus Rashford, having an absolute game back in England. His first 2 goals for Barcelona. You just knew it was going to happen. All that shit that English media love to talk about Rashford. Oh, why did he get this move to Barcelona? He doesn't deserve it. Oh, and then all this praise for Grealish. Well, yeah, Grealish just played well for Everton. Oh, look, he gets a chance now to really flourish. The same thing could be said for Marcus Rashford. And look at the way he played yesterday. Even though the first half you could say was a little bit frustrating, he did beat Trippier on a couple occasions, but his final ball was terrible. But I think actually the header is more impressive than the second goal because the power he gets onto that header was absolutely ridiculous. And then to beat Pope it was almost at the edge of the box, that header from Marcus Rashford to get into the bottom left corner. Because Barcelona in that first half, they were not playing the greatest. Martin was getting really exposed down that left side for Barcelona. Newcastle were just consistently playing through balls into Alanga. I mean, SofaScore have got to be the biggest frauds in the world because they had a 0 out of 3 crosses for Alanga in that first half. He put one on a plate for Gordon and put the other one on a plate for Barnes, and he couldn't finish it. And yet they gave him 0 out of 3 crosses. I'm like, nah, SofaScore are the biggest frauds. There's no way this can be true. Newcastle had their opportunities in the first half. You could just see what the atmosphere, see what the adrenaline, like, yes, this is our moment. We're really going to now perform here. We're going to get that goal. We're going to really, just take advantage of the moment here. Once they couldn't take advantage, second half, Barcelona showed up. They showed up, and then Rashford getting their 2 goals. For me, I know people want to praise Rashford. I mean, the glazing I saw yesterday for Pedri. I mean, yeah, Pedri had a good game, but masterclass. Oh my God, look at this guy. It's like English people, when they see for the first time tech in a long time, they just drool all over the screen on their television screen. They're like, I'm doing like a YouTube thumbnail. That's what all the English people were doing yesterday when they saw Pedri in the midfield. It's like, tech, that wasn't even a masterclass from Pedri. That wasn't even his best game. You really want to see his best game? Go back last season and look at the Copa del Rey final for Pedri. That was a great game from Pedri. I think there was a game against Rayo. I think it was at home or away. It might have been at home by Pedri. Unbelievable in that game. So yeah, Pedri had a good game. But for me, the man of the match yesterday was Koundé. I thought Koundé defensively was rock solid, going forward, got the assist to Rashford with his weak foot. I think Koundé was man of the match for Barcelona. And this was, I think, a great performance from Barcelona because they didn't look great in the first half. Offensively, they just didn't have any flow going. Second half, you could see a little bit more patterns of play and Rashford really taking the game to his advantage. But I'm really impressed by defensively. They showed up, Barca. Johan Garcia, I told you in the summer, he is going to be a game-changing signing for Barcelona. He will prove that this season as Barcelona. For me, I think they will win the Champions League. I have Barcelona winning the Champions League this season, and Johan Garcia will be a pivotal part of that. But I think for Barca, playing a very physical team like Newcastle, going away to St. James's Park, which is not going to be easy for a lot of teams this season, I think they really played well, especially in that second half. The way they just controlled possession, they controlled the tempo of play, while Newcastle were just trying to be Energizer bunnies, running around, trying to get the ball back. But Barcelona, they relaxed, controlled the tempo. Newcastle, yeah, they got that late goal with Gordon, but Barcelona were always going to win that game. Although I would say Newcastle played a really good game, but Newcastle also have to understand of which moments to really play that high-octane football and which moments to just keep possession. Newcastle just simply don't have that within them as of right now when it comes to a tactical standpoint. When they can develop that, I think Newcastle have a good team, but it just seems like yesterday they only had one idea. Okay, play really quick. Just play Energizer Bunny football. Once they couldn't do that, Newcastle got exposed. And yeah, I think for Barca it was a really, really good win. And Rashford show up. That second goal, though, off the crossbar and in. Que golazo. I'm really happy for Rashford now because he gets away from the English media and you see what happens immediately. Big up, Doug. How you doing, bro? Hopefully you are doing well. Dude, I think Manchester United are cursed. Of course they are. Of course they're cursed. They got a black cat running around the stadium. Shard for the first goal, though. I don't think you can really blame any of the defenders for Newcastle. I thought that was honestly a ridiculous header from Rashford. I thought it was a ridiculous header from him. Pedri had a good game, but he has had better performances than this. Agreed. Standard Pedri performance. See, this is exactly it. Standard Pedri performance is an unbelievable game for most midfielders around the world. Okay, can we agree? That wasn't a masterclass from Pedri. I just want to get out there. Yeah, he had a pretty good game. Koundé has been so much better on the ball this season, especially also last season. I think he have those 2 goals against Real Betis. Koundé, they were ridiculous goals. Yeah, he did not look happy. But yeah, I think it was a really good performance from Barcelona, considering now their next match day is against PSG. Oh, I cannot wait for it. Just hopefully Lamine Yamal is fit for it. But here is the standings after the first match day in the Champions League. Eintracht Frankfurt are on top. PSG are second. Club Brugge are in third place. Sporting are in fourth. Union Saint-Gilloise are in fifth. Bayern in sixth. Arsenal, Inter rounded off. Then the bottom, you have Atletico and Napoli, Kairat, Monaco, Galatasaray, and Atalanta. So if I'm saying right now, stop the count because Eintracht Frankfurt in first place. We will be there. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, people. Which team was the most impressive for you? Which team really did not stand out? Do you think it's going to really struggle this season? Who was the player of the week? Let's just give this award. Who was the donkey of the week this season this week in the Champions League. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for more UCL content. We're going to do this after every single match day of the UCL this season. But everybody, have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world, and I'll catch you all next time. Adios.